Now, if you're single and ready to mingle, it seems that there is no better time for it. Matchmaking TV shows are everywhere and there is no end to the number of dating apps around. It is booming.
Yeah, and with all those opportunities, there's a very good chance you'll find Mr. or Mrs. Right. However, if children come into the mix, that can be challenging when you're trying to start a relationship, especially for those who've never had kids or been around them much.
So, to help us out, we are joined by relationship and intimacy expert, the lovely Dr. Nikki Goldstein.
Hi, Nikki.
Hello.
Nikki, what do we do? I mean, it's such a big booming industry, this dating world. What happens when we meet someone that has kids?
Well, I think we need to actually look at the chances that this is very likely these days.
Yeah.
You know, we're dating longer. We've got this divorce rate that's increasing. So the chances that you're going to be dating somebody that has previously been married and has children is very high. Now, I think it's really important that we don't see this as baggage, because I feel like we've had these myths circulating around that, oh, you don't want anyone that has baggage. So we actually need to change the mindset and start going, children in a relationship, like somebody that has previous children, can bring more love and fulfillment rather than seeing it as baggage. Once we start having those conversations about changing that mindset, I think then we're in a position to actually look at it in a different way.
How should we feel about the children that aren't our own?
Well, it can be very challenging because you're not their biological parent and you're coming into this situation. So I think, first of all, it's really important to get to know the parent first as a person away from a parent. Get to know them, get to see if you can connect with them. Is there something there that's really worth exploring? If that relationship is going well, then you can have a look at what role you have in these children's lives. You know, it's really important that you need to consider that there are other people that have not chosen to be into this mix, and they do need to come first.
And that's what I was going to ask. What do we need to think about if we want to commit to someone that has children?
Well, you do really need to be looking at sorting out all your stuff in your relationship. You know, any relationship needs communication, but obviously with this relationship, there is a lot of communication that's needed, also around roles. What role are you going to take in these children's life? What about parenting? You know, here you are faced in a new relationship, maybe having to have these discussions that normally you would have, you know, later down the track. So that communication is really important to make sure that you're both on the same page, but you also need to have that respect for the other person's parenting, you know, how they want to do things.
That's true. What about this curly one? How soon should you meet your new partner's children?
It's kind of like the new, instead of meeting the parents, we meet the children.
Yes.
Well, you know, the interesting thing with this one is there's no magic number, and it really depends on when you both feel that it is the right time. You know, what age are the children? You know, what do the children know about
Maybe
your
not
relationship?
after the first date.
No, you need to really
of
make
time.
sure that you like this person up. And children are a great way to be that filter of, is this person good enough? Because you're having to deal with all this other stuff as well, then they really need to be a special person to continue dating them. So I think when you know that, then meet the children.
The Brady Bunch were decades ahead of everything,
Weren't they?
I know.
Hey, I know you cover a lot of this in your Single But Dating book as well, and you've kind of gone through this situation also. Should people just approach this differently from previous relationships when it's just been single guy, single girl?
Well, I do think you need to approach it differently, but you know, it's still a relationship that you're forming. So, you know, even though that you're having a relationship with somebody that has children, you still need to go through the same things that anybody else goes through when they're forming a relationship. Looking at trust, intimacy, communication, all of that.
All right, important tips. Thanks for this, Dr. Nikki. Learn to look for more love, not more fear. Respect the person's parenting skills if it's not something you're used to. And don't see this as a pecking order as well, like you're a distant second to the children involved.
Fascinating.
Great advice. Thanks, Dr. Nikki.
Thank you.
Stay with us. Plenty more still to come here on The House of Wellness.